Hello there YouTube, my name is Moonstar, and today we are continuing the fanfiction of the Stallion of Fate. Previously, this is part 2 pretty much of the Stallion of Fate, the first one that I wrote. This is going to be a chapter read through. In other words, I'm going to read one chapter at a time and upload that chapter. And this one here I believe has at least 8. So, you should see about 8 videos of this. Alright, so let's get started with the first chapter, shall we? This is The Stallion of Fate, Legacy. Chapter 1, The Sword of Fate. The day after the banishment of Princess Luna, everything was silent. It was hard to believe it had actually happened. Moonstar was still recovering from his injuries. He had just watched Princess Celestia raise the sun. A sight to behold, truly. Moonstar could not help but stare. Princess Celestia noticed him staring and flew over to his window. "It's good to see you're awake, young Moonstar," Celestia said with a smile. It took Moonstar a moment to realize she was hovering there. "Oh, good morning, Princess Celestia. That was truly a sight to see." "I'm glad you like seeing it. Most ponies enjoy it as well. Now then, are you going to invite me in, or do you wish to continue our discussion from outside the window?" she replied with a smirk. "Oh yes, where are my manners? Do come in, Princess." She stood next to him for a moment, making sure he was all right. She then raised her hoof and gave Moonstar a hard smack in the head. He yelped as a welt began to appear. "Don't you ever do something that stupid again, is that clear?" Celestia said in concern, referring to Moonstar's act of saving Nightmare Moon for being spared by Celestia herself. "Sorry, Princess, it was a spur of the moment sort of thing," he said, somewhat chuckling. "You have earned the right to simply call me Celestia if you so choose, Moonstar," she replied, wrapping a ring around him, thanking him for making sure no harm came to her sister. Moonstar told him about his dream of seeing her. Princess Celestia was happy to hear. She also revealed that she had had a chance to say goodbye as well. Princess Celestia could see the mourning in his eyes. It wasn't too unlike her own sorrow. "Come, Moonstar, let us take a walk." Along the way, Princess Celestia told him about how she and Luna grew up together, how she had helped her gain her cutie mark, and also how to raise the moon. Celestia also knew the darkness that was ever present, but she could do nothing to stop the destruction of the one who had needed her most. Moonstar in turn told Celestia of how Luna was one of his best friends. He always enjoyed their times together. She had helped him become who he was, and also to gain his cutie mark as well, as did his parents and the rest of his fellow ponies in the village. He still mourned them, but talking about their past experience with Princess Luna and them eased the pain a lot. "I don't remember you being a unicorn. Last time I checked, you were an Earth pony. How peculiar. I've only heard about it in legends." She realized she never got a chance to see his mark. She looked over at Moonstar's hide for a moment and saw the wheel. "What legends?" Moonstar asked as she eyed his mark. "Well, if I'm not mistaken, the mark you have is the Wheel of Fate, which, if I remember the legend right, a pony who bears this mark so bears the ability to see and control the fate of others." Moonstar didn't quite know how to take that. How many ponies can do that? See the fate of other ponies, I mean. Moonstar asked inquisitively. "Well, it's not unheard of, although it's said that an alicorn like myself or a highly skewed unicorn could see the fate of others. However, not even I can alter the fate of another, nor would I ever want that ability. Although if you do in fact have this ability, you'll not just see the fates of other ponies and be able to alter them, you'll also be able to see and alter the fates of any other living creature." As Moonstar let the knowledge of what he was hearing sink in, his destiny was becoming clear to him. "So, What do I do now, Celestia? I don't really know what I'm going to do from here. I want to continue my training and become strong so I can protect everybody, he said. Well, if you have nowhere to go, I wouldn't mind setting up arrangements to have you live here in the palace. I would also help you with your training by allowing you to join the royal guards. If that is what you want to do, of course, Princess Celestia said. Moonstar had not known many other family besides his mother and father, as well as the other villagers. So, Moonstar accepted Celestia's offer. Perfect. Until there's a place set up, you may use the chambers you rested in. I will talk to the captain and let him know he will have a new cadet tomorrow morning. I would also like you to report to me once a week or so you can tell me how you're coming along. Moonstar nodded and graciously thanked Princess Celestia. It's the least I could do to thank you for being so kind to my sister. If there's anything you need, do not hesitate to ask, Princess Celestia said. There is one thing I wish to do before I continue, Moonstar said. Celestia looked at him, wondering what it could be. I need to go back to the village. There's something there that I would like to see if I can get my hooves on. I see, Celestia said. And what is it that you're looking for, if I might ask? A sword, Moonstar replied. It's a sword that was passed down from each generation in my family. All right then. Would you like me to have one of the soldiers accompany you there? Moonstar shook his head. It's quite all right. It won't take me long to get there, Moonstar said as he bowed his head respectfully as he walked out the door. All right. If you need me, just shout. And I'll be there post-haste, Princess Celestia said. Moonstar nodded, and with that he was gone. It was something Celestia hadn't seen too often, to see a pony standing right in front of her, and the next minute be gone. It was always an interesting thing to watch, especially since no magic was used. Just pure given speed. She told him there would likely be soldiers waiting there for him regardless. He walked on to the village, enjoying the peaceful silence. He got to the village and saw the same guard that carted him to the castle, approaching him. Moonstar got back to the burnt-down village. Hello, you're the guard that pulled me into the castle the other night, right? That is correct. And your name is Moonstar, right? He replied. Moonstar nodded. Nice to meet you, Moonstar. My name is Darts. Darts Hooves. Pleased to meet you, Moonstar said. Princess Celestia told me you were coming. I didn't expect you to get here so fast. I don't know a lot of unicorns that can do teleportation spells that well, Darts said. Oh, it wasn't a teleportation spell. I'm just very quick on my hooves is all, Moonstar replied, chuckling a little bit. Ah, I see. So what is it that you're looking for here exactly? Said Darts. Moonstar described a long black box which would contain a sword inside. Black box, you say? You do realize that would be like finding a needle in a haystack, right? I mean, this whole village is pretty much burnt black. Moonstar nodded at Darts, but continued anyway. He proceeded to go to his old house, which was still somewhat standing, but it could collapse at any moment. Moonstar walked inside, although Darts advised against it. Moonstar knew he could get out if it started to collapse. As he walked in, he examined the inside of the house. What was once a beautiful home was now a blackened shell. He went to his room to see it was also burnt. Everything was burnt to the ground. Nothing but ash. He then proceeded to his parents' bedroom. He walked over to the bed, which was also a pile of ash and burnt wood. He dug through it to see if the box happened to be underneath it. It wasn't. He noticed a wardrobe that had somewhat remained intact. He opened the doors, which fell off the hinges. Some formal attire was still intact, as well, but stained with soot. Moonstar moved his clothes aside and saw the big black box he was looking for, standing upright. He grabbed the box and pulled it out. He set it on the floor and opened it. Inside was a long sword, completely unharmed. It had the appearance of a very long katana-type sword. The sheath was deep blue, much like the color of Moonstar's eyes. He inspected the blade. It was still in pristine condition, and razor sharp as far as he could tell. Satisfied, he placed the sword back in the box and hoisted it onto his back, and walked out the door with it, and walked out of the house with it. Darts had stood post just in case the house were to collapse. So, where did they take the bodies? Moonstar asked. They're being put to rest now, I believe, Darts replied. Moonstar asked if he would take them there before heading back to the palace. Darts nodded, and they made a quick detour. He watched as soldiers respectfully began to bury them. A few tears streamed down his face. Moonstar approached one of the soldiers and asked if they had recovered his mother and father. He gave a description to the soldier, which the soldier then pointed him over. They had not yet been buried. Moonstar walked over to them. There in front of him lied his mother and father. They were wrapped in a silk cloth that surrounded them. He undid them just enough to see their face. Mother, mother, he uttered, laying next to them for a moment. He began to speak as if they were listening, telling them what had happened, how Princess Celestia saved his life, and what his plans were for the future, to become strong and protect every pony however he could, and every one. He gently nuzzled the sides of their faces and said goodbye, helping the soldiers to bury them. Evening began to set in. Moonstar made his way back to the palace. As he got there, the doors opened to let him inside. He was greeted by one of the guards. A room is prepared for you. Just follow the hallway all the way down, and it will be on the right hoof side, near the throne room, the guard said. Moonstar thanked the guard and continued walking down the hall, passing where he had just stayed the previous night. He found his room without much trouble. He noticed it was actually pretty close to the throne room. Celestia wanted to keep a close eye on him. He felt honored that Celestia valued him so much. He entered the room and looked around. The room was twice the size of his old house. The window had a very good view of both the waterfall and the town which Princess Celestia looked after. He also noticed a mannequin in the corner, or a ponykin, I guess you could call it. He had his own armor. It wasn't gold like the other guards wore. Rather, it was silver, and had a sort of blue hue to it, with a crescent moon in the center. It reminded him a lot of Princess Luna's cutie mark. That was probably the idea. It also had a place in which to holster the sword he had on his back. He took the box off his back and placed it in front of his armor. He walked over to the window again to watch Princess Celestia lower the sun and raise the moon. Having to raise both the sun and the moon had to be a burden. The moon still had the silhouette of Luna's face. The night was still something he held close to him. It would fill him with the good memories he had with Princess Luna. As Celestia turned away from the moon, tears would glitter through the night sky. The guilt she had of sending her sister to the moon was something that couldn't be easy to hold. He found himself captivated by the moon, as if he were trying to see if Luna was looking back, or would it be Nightmare Moon? Princess Celestia turned to see him staring at the moon. She flew by his window again. Are you going to watch me every time I raise and lower the sun and the moon? She said with a soft smile. Sorry, I didn't mean to stare. The night though has always captivated me. I remember watching Luna raise the moon. Being able to watch you and her able to raise the moon and the sun has always been captivating. Captivating, at least to me. Princess Celestia entered his room for a moment. Did you love her? Celestia asked, still wearing the soft smile. Moonstar was taken aback by the question. He regained his composure and responded, "Of course I loved her. I'll always love her. She gave me everything. I am who I am because of her. She inspired me. She is what kept me fighting." Princess couldn't help but smile, knowing how he felt about Luna, what she meant to him. She wrapped her wings around him again, which of course took him by surprise. The warmth he felt from the embrace matched almost perfectly with Luna. "It pleases me to hear you say that. My sister could not have been in better hooves during her times of darkness. It is also why I had her crescent moon shaped on the front of your armor. Something to remind you of her by." "Thank you, Princess Celestia. But even without it, I still have the amulet she gave me. That's something I will never stop wearing." Celestia released her hold on him. Celestia let go of him and flew out the window. Moonstar thanked the princess for all she'd done for him. With that, he went on to bed, as his training would begin in the morning, which he didn't really like. Moonstar never really was a morning pony. And that's the end of Chapter 1. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, Goldwing. Thank you for listening. My name is Moonstar. See you next time, and keep reading.